This is Sandy with a little bit of glitter, and I'm still in the Valentine spirit. I've got another card today. This one I decided to do a snow globe for Valentine's Day. I have a number of snow globes. A lot of them are everyday Disney snow globes, and then I have a bunch of Halloween snow globes. So I don't think snow globes are just for Christmas. If you want to be notified of future videos, go ahead and hit subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram at Sandy Cogdill. It's SandyCogdill, or on my blog, alittlebitofglitter.com. Let's get started. To start this project, I'm using the Fawn Scallop Slimline with hearts die cut. I have both the portrait and the landscape. It doesn't matter which one you use because we're just using the outside frame. I cut one out of the ballet pink slippers cardstock, and then I did another 5 layers of just plain white cardstock. And here I'm showing you how I lined those up. So I measured one, got it where I wanted it. And then for the other layers, I'm just taking that inside snow globe, putting it where the initial cut was, and then I'm going to lift it up, lift that layer up. I'm going to take my die and slide it over that snow globe, and when you're doing that, you'll be able to feel that edge, so you'll be able to feel that snow globe slide over it. Then I'm going to go ahead and tape it in there and then run it through my die cut. I do this 5 times on white cardstock, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue all of those layers of cardstock together. As you can see, I am terribly close to the upper and the lower edge of the white cardstock, even the pink cardstock. So when I'm going to glue it, I'm very careful to not stretch out or rip either one of those edges, and that when I'm layering it, that I'm still staying on top of each of those little scallops. It's a little bit tricky. This is a little bit of a tricky card. It was not quite as easy as I was hoping it would be. I like the end result, but it is tricky, so just beware. This paper has been cut to 10 1/8 by 3 1/8. This is going to be the piece of paper that lays on top of the pink. It's going to be the background. So I've kind of sketched out where my snow globe is going to be. I don't have to worry about ink blending in those areas. I also have sketched out where the ground is going to be. So I'm going to start with Tumbled Glass Distress Ink Oxide, and I'm using the stencil starting at the top and then just moving down. I didn't use my slimline stencil just because I didn't need to. I'm only using it halfway across the card, and then I'm going to move to the other side. I've cut my ground pieces from some pattern paper, and I'm going to take some mowed lawn and go over the edges of that. I'm going to go over the top rounded edge and then both of the corners on the outside edge to add a little bit of dimension. A little bit later in the video, you're going to see me go back in with some more color. I didn't like how there was so much white on it, so I went in with some twisted citron and just added some to it. It just felt like it was just a little bit too stark. Now it's time to go ahead and start stenciling on my little flower hearts. I'm just going to go back and forth on my card base using twisted citron first, placing those little stems where I want them, and I'm using the little sketched lines of where my ground is going to be as a guideline of where to place my stems as I go. Once I get the twisted citron done, I'm going to go back in with a smaller little blending brush and use some mowed lawn just to give the leaves a little bit of dimension and a little bit more interest. Now I'm going to start applying my hearts to the top of my little stems. I'm using Kitsch Flamingo for the lighter pink and Picked Raspberry for the darker pink. And I'm doing the same process with the lighter pink at the base and then using the smaller blending brush to add a little bit of dimension to the outside edges with the Picked Raspberry. As you can see, I'm also being really careful to cover up any of the openings that I'm not working on so I don't get any of the ink in areas that I don't want it. I am a very messy stenciler, so I can't tell you how many times I've gotten at least this far in a card and just totally destroyed my background because I haven't been careful with what I've been doing. So just a little tip for you there. As soon as we're done getting these little hearts done, then we can move on to finishing the card. Okay, I've got the front or the top part of my card already now, the front panel. I've got my background glued on, and I've got my acetate glued to the back. I'm getting ready to heat emboss the upper part of my sentiment. I'm using an anti-static brush, and then I'm going to stamp it with some Versamark, and then heat emboss it with some black embossing powder. I've got the trim pieces glued on my snow globe now. I'm going to use the I Love You from the Porcu-Pine for You stamp set. I'm going to get that placed in my MISTI just like I want it. And then I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss that also with the black embossing powder. Same process as the upper corner sentiment. All right, we're coming down to the home stretch here. We've got the inside of the snow globe all glued together and centered on the card where we want it. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Then we'll go ahead and place all those layers that we glued together to make that little well where we're going to put in the little sprinkle pieces. We'll go ahead and get those sprinkle pieces put in there, and then we'll place the top layer with the acetate on top of that and glue that all down. And aside from some other fun little embellishments and getting the rest of the sentiment put on, this card is just about done. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue the snow globe part down to the card. It's always kind of hard because the glue tends to like gush out on the side, so I went ahead, glued it down, and then I just took my little tool and kind of cleaned up the excess glue as best as I could. And then I just put a little stamping block on top of it to help it dry well and adhere to the base of the card. Once I got my Be Mine sentiment placed on the card, I quickly realized that I didn't have enough to put on the top of the card. So I went ahead and I stamped some mushrooms from the To My Fun Guy, which was a free stamp set from Lawn Fawn if you ordered, I think it was $60 worth of merchandise on their latest release. And then I also stamped a bunch of butterflies from Butterfly Kisses and some flowers that are also in that set. Went ahead and colored them with Copic markers and then cut them all out and got ready to place them on the card. All right, I have all of my little pieces colored and cut out. Now I'm going to try to figure out where I want them on my card. I'm just going to play around with placement, figure out where I want them, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue them down. This time, instead of using stickles to add some glitter to my card, I am like a 2-year-old with a jar of stickles. I just can't seem to stop myself. I'm using a glue pen, and then I'm just doing a little line on my element, dipping it in some mica glitter, and then gluing it on my card. Trying to keep my glitter explosion to a minimum, and I seem to do pretty good this time. It's really hard for me to stay away from the glitter on these cards, especially when it's Valentine's Day. So I'll let you go ahead and watch me finish this card here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's the process I used to make this card. It had been a while since I had done a shaker card, so that was kind of good to go back into doing that for a change. If you enjoyed watching this card and you'd like to see future videos that I'm doing, go ahead and hit subscribe to be notified of the other ones that I'm doing. You can also follow me on Instagram at Sandy Cogdell or on my blog, A Little Bit of Glitter. Thanks for stopping by today and have a great day. Bye-bye.